Good morning. Good morning. This is Debbie with Carolina Cruzin Motorcycle Coaching. And I just wanted to jump on today and just say hi to you all. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about my trainings and my course offerings for 2021. So, as many of you know, the night before last, which I guess would be Monday night, I finally was able to complete my training schedule, get everything developed and created in my scheduling software so that it is now available to book sessions with me. And so I finally finished all that up, and I shared last night in a post the link where you can click on and see all of those training offerings. I also shared the link to my website, which is always a work in progress. I did do some updating to it, but it needs more because right now it doesn't really show the training schedule that I have available in my scheduling software. Of course, in my scheduling software, you can see it. But my goal is to integrate that scheduling software right into my website. So I'm working on that. But in the meantime, trainings are available. You can see what they are and when they're offered, and you are free to begin signing up. My first classes for 2021 begin the weekend of February 20th. And those courses are my Learn to Ride courses. So those are the first courses we're starting with this year. And of course, as the year goes through, I've got a whole bunch. So I'm just going to read the list of what I'm offering, and then I'm just going to go back and just give some more information on what each of those trainings are. So for the more beginner riders, or the absolute novice beginner who has never been on a motorcycle or who hasn't been on a motorcycle in many years and wants to refresh, I have a class, which is a 2-day class. It's 6 hours total, and it's 2 consecutive days, 3 hours on each day, and it's called Learn to Ride. Um, Another training that I offer is called Street Smart Motorcycle Coaching. And so that is also for the more beginner rider. And then I offer the beginner to intermediate slow maneuvering. Another course that I offer is it's called the DMV Skills Practice Class. So it's basically a 2-hour training class that I give you if you're ready to take your road test and you are taking it through the DMV and not getting your endorsement through the Motorcycle Safety Foundation for whatever reason you've decided not to do that. Then I provide a class to help you learn that DMV course, and so that you can pass it on your first try. Um, for the more experienced rider, or experienced, intermediate, advanced, I offer. Well, I'm sorry. So this training is really for the beginner to intermediate rider. Sorry about that. And this course it's an intro to group riding. So I offer a few different sessions where we can get together as a group. And basically, I am teaching you how to ride with a group, which is slightly different dynamics and different riding techniques than you might employ when you're riding solo. So it is an opportunity for you to just kind of push your skill level, and just to kind of push your comfort zone to where you're able to ride with other riders. We're going to learn about hand signals. We're going to learn about proper riding positioning, and that's going to be a 2-hour course. And I offer those again throughout the year. So there's quite a few opportunities for you to learn how to ride safely with a group. This is now for the more advanced rider, where I have advanced slow maneuvering. So in this course, this is a 3-hour course. Again, I offer numerous sessions of this throughout the year, but it's definitely a course that's going to push your skill level. So if you are an existing rider, you should be taking continuing education every single year on your motorcycle. We always have skills we can use, that we can utilize and learn and get better. I've been riding for 15 years, and I consider myself a pretty proficient rider. I'm pretty confident and pretty well skilled in a lot of different techniques, especially slow maneuvering and riding roads that are very technical, I guess we would say, like this road that I've got behind me. This is a road that's in Western North Carolina. And there's a lot of roads like this. And so this is a road that you would ride once you're a little bit more experienced and you kind of understand how to operate your motorcycle, which the slow maneuvering courses are really the building block and the foundation of every skill that you will ever need to employ when you're riding. So yeah, the advanced slow maneuvering is really, really going to push your skill level. So if you think you're a really good rider now, and you may be, I challenge you to take my advanced slow maneuvering course and just to kind of see where you're at. You know, maybe you'll ace it and maybe you'll learn something new. But in any event, it would be at the minimum a very good refresher, because I know a lot of us don't always spend a lot of time going into parking lots and doing our slow maneuvering. And of course, it's not just straight slow maneuvering. The advanced slow maneuvering course is, I'm gonna have you going through cones and having to really lean that bike going slow. Which those of us who are experienced know that leaning our bike when we're going slow can be a scary thing to do. But I'm going to teach you how to do it without being scared. I'm going to teach you proper eye positioning, proper head position, proper body positioning, all that kind of stuff. We'll talk about counterbalancing and lots of really cool stuff. So I think you'll see that it'll really push your level. Another new offering for this year is I'm going to be offering a class called Offensive Riding, Emergency Procedures, and Obstacle Avoidance. That is definitely a much needed skill. If you have not had an opportunity to take a class like that, I, again, am going to challenge you. And, it's really important. Again, this is something we don't always have an opportunity to practice, like emergency braking, obstacle avoidance, like swerving around something. So I'm going to give you opportunities to really practice that in a very safe, controlled environment. The other thing that I offer, that I did offer last year, but I'm going to offer a few more of them this year. The one segment of my business that I am trying to increase little by little is my tours, which which are open to anybody. They're not necessarily for beginner riders. They're not necessarily for just advanced riders. But when I do post a ride, I will let you know what skill level I believe that the skill level that I believe that you should have to be able to successfully do that ride. For instance, I've got one ride coming up where it's a 3-day tour to the North Carolina, Tennessee mountains, where we are going to be riding some roads like as you see behind me. And that is not a ride that I would suggest for a beginner. That is a ride that I would suggest for the more intermediate to advanced rider, who has, some good experience under their belt already, who's at least riding at least, a year or two, maybe. Depends on how many miles you've done in that first year, but definitely not the brand new rider. So as far as my group tours, I've got a couple of full day tours. We did a couple of those last year, which were fun. So I've got 3 of those planned for this year. Then last year we also did an overnight tour to the mountains. So I have 2 of those planned again. One is going to be to the mountains, and the second location for the overnight I haven't decided yet, but I will make all those dates available in plenty of time for you to plan and to save up money for those tours. And the last one is I have 2 guided tours that are going to be 2 nights and 3 days. Previously, they were just 1 night, and 2 days of riding and one night. But now I've got a 2-night, 3-day guided tour. The one thing I do want to say about the overnight tours, the 1 night and the 2-night overnight tours, is the fee to ride in those. And just keep this in mind when you look at them and go to book them and you're looking at the cost. Just know that cost is all inclusive. And when I say that, what I'm talking about is the fee for those rides is the cost for gas, for your hotel, and for food. And also, you're paying for the guided tour. You're paying for somebody to lead you, to make all the decisions for you. You're paying for me to plan the route for you. So you're paying for the guide also. So it's the guide, it's the hotel stays, it's food, and it's gas. So theoretically, once you pay the fee, unless you want to buy something, like a shirt or whatever, you want to buy a bottle of soda on a rest stop, that would be on you, but everything else is going to be covered in the fee that you pay for these group tours. So that's just a very high level overview of what I've got to offer. I just really quick want to talk about, if you want to learn more specifics, just stay on a little bit longer. If you've heard enough and you just wanted the high level, feel free to jump off. I'm just going to spend, in the next 5 to 10 minutes, maybe not 10 minutes, but at least the next 5 minutes, just really quickly talking about more of the details of some of these offerings. So I want to go back to my Learn to Ride course series. And like I said, this is a 2-day consecutive course. It's 6 hours total. And I work 1-on-2, meaning it's one of me, one instructor to 2 students. And I used to do one-on-one with these new rider trainings. But last year, I had so many women who were interested. I had people on waiting lists in case there was a cancellation. By the beginning of June, my schedule was already booked, completely booked solid, all the way to the end of August. So, if you didn't get to me by June, you were not getting in for training with me. And so I had to turn a lot of people away. And of course, I hated that because I want to be able to help every single person that I can. Anybody who wants to learn to ride, I want to be able to be there to help you learn to ride. The other obstacle I faced was that I was offering my 6-hour training over 3 Saturdays. And I kind of then started to wonder, why was I dragging it out so much? Like, let's just do it. Let's really work the techniques and really work the riding. And I think that is something that will help you just acclimate a lot quicker to the motorcycle and to the skills that you're learning. The other benefit is you just have to, block off 3 hours on Saturday, 3 hours on Sunday, and you're done. You're not having to drag it out over 3 weekends. The other huge benefit is I also had women who did not live in the Triangle area of North Carolina, who did want to take my training. They either lived, somewhere up in Virginia, or they lived in, Western North Carolina or Eastern North Carolina, or like around Charlotte, or even South Carolina. And they wanted to know if I had other training schools, near them. Maybe one day that would be great to franchise or just expand. And I know that that's going to happen one day, but right now it's just me. I hope to be able to add an additional rider coach. So that's another thing that I'm going to be doing. Whether it's this year or next year is to be seen, but that's definitely coming. But with my Learn to Ride program being 2 consecutive days, it now allows people that don't live in the area to come and take training over the one weekend and go home. So, there's plenty of hotel spaces to stay at. So it gives you the option to come and take Saturday training with me, stay overnight somewhere Saturday night, take the training with me Sunday, and then you can go home. The trainings, like I said, are 3 hours a piece. I offer a morning session, usually 8 to 11. And then I offer that afternoon, which is usually 12:30 to 3. I do also offer this training during the week. Not a lot of opportunities, but I do offer a few throughout the year, because I also had many women last year who said, hey, I work on the weekends and it's really hard for me to get the weekend off. Do you offer this training during the week? And at that time I didn't, but now I do. Okay, so if you are somebody who cannot take this training during the week, just know that there are opportunities that you can't take it during the weekend. There are opportunities to take it during the week. And again, they're consecutive days. So it might be like a Tuesday, Wednesday evening, or, a Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, whatever it is. I've got a couple of different things mixed up. I don't know if I said this earlier, but I do have 31 of these new rider or Learn to Ride classes that are going to be taking place throughout the year. So because I allow 2 students per training, that allows me to train 62 women. And what a gift for me that is to be able to do, because last year I worked with about 25 to 30 women total, and not all of those women were the new riders. Some of them took my other courses because I had limited space for my Learn to Ride program. So now I have room for 62 women starting in February, going all the way through to the beginning of December. So I hope to be able to work with you. Also, to let you know, the Learn to Ride is not a program that you need to have your permit for. Obviously, you don't need an endorsement, but do know that you don't get your endorsement at the end of it. I do have a track where I can set you up on, where I can work with you over numerous, numerous weeks, months, whatever, and bringing you through different classes of mine so that you can eventually earn your endorsement by taking your skills test with DMV. Um, so that's an option for the person who really, really wants to feel proficient on their motorcycle before they get their license. I do always recommend to my students that it's not a bad idea to get your permit, because once you finish the Learn to Ride series of classes, the next level of classes that you can take with me is my Street Smart Motorcycle Coaching. The Street Smart Motorcycle Coaching is for the women who the woman who's either taken the Learn to Ride with me and then has gone to DMV and taken her permit test, which again I really do recommend, because even just reading the motorcycle handbook and taking that test, I mean, you'll learn a tremendous amount about riding and your motorcycle and just rules of the road as they apply to your motorcycle, just by taking that test. So I do always recommend that, and I had many women who went ahead and did that this summer. Um, I just want to go back to Learn to Ride really quick. I just want to specify that for Learn to Ride, you also do not need to have a motorcycle. It is my hopes that shortly after you finish the class that you are going to be buying some kind of a motorcycle, because if you've learned how to ride but then you have no way to practice, you're kind of you're wasting your skills, or you're wasting your money, because if you're not going to buy a motorcycle for 6 months to a year after you take that class, you're going to forget everything. So I would say that I either think about buying a motorcycle just to have. You're not going to use it at the training. You'll be using my training motorcycles. I have two small 250cc motorcycles that are light and very maneuverable. But you should have it in mind that shortly after you should be buying a motorcycle or looking into buying a motorcycle. That is something I can help you with. I will do a live video about that regarding just, what are you looking for, what types of motorcycles there are. So those are things that I can help you with and will provide resources for. Um, so now let's fast forward. I was talking about Street Smart Coaching. So with that is for the person, like I said, who have taken my Learn to Ride 6-hour course. And it is for the woman who has taken the Motorcycle Safety Foundation Basic Rider course and passed it. So you now either have a permit or you have your endorsement from the Motorcycle Safety Foundation class. Because many women that I've worked with this summer took that class, which is a great class. It really kickstarts you into learning how to ride, but it doesn't give you the option to ride on the road. So it doesn't get you out in real traffic situations. And just learning to ride your motorcycle is one skill set, and then learning how to ride your motorcycle safely in real traffic situations, navigating cars and turns and traffic lights and just all the other things that you encounter on the road, is a whole separate skill set while you are still proficiently operating your motorcycle, braking, throttle, clutch, making sure that you don't stall it in the middle of an intersection, which happens, and that will happen. But with Street Smart Motorcycle Coaching, you will have me alongside you as your mentor. And I am helping you to gain confidence out on the road. So you're not necessarily having to navigate directions. You're going to be following me. So at first we start off with you following me, and then eventually I like to ride behind you. So that's kind of how we do that once you're a little bit more familiar, and that helps you gain a little bit more confidence when I have you switch positions with me and ride in front of me and you lead me. That is a class that's 2 hours a session, 2-hour sessions. And you can sign up for as many sessions as you want with me on that. Like I said, they're 2 hours, but I also have the option to add on additional time. So if you were like, hey, Debbie, can we work together for 4 hours? Then yeah, absolutely. You would book your Street Smart Coaching for 2 hours. And then there's an option to add on And then you can choose how many hours you want to add on to that. So we can definitely do that. Um, I have about 16 available appointments throughout the year for that training. If for some reason those 16 get booked up, that is something it's easy for me to expand my schedule on. So I could always add in more trainings if need be. And the other thing I just want to mention is with Street Smart Coaching, I will ride to your area so that you're not riding to me. The whole point is for me to ride to you and take you out in an area that you are familiar with, that you already feel safe in because you ride that area in your car and you're familiar with the roads. So I will come to you and we will ride in your area. So that's what Street Smart Motorcycle Coaching is. And that will help bring you to the next level. So eventually you'll get to the point where you just hop on and you feel comfortable riding on the roads that are familiar to you. And once you kind of um, push the boundaries of your comfort zone, eventually you'll be out riding, on roads that you have never ridden on before. And if you're like me, there are times I go out and I don't even like put my GPS on. I'm just like, where am I going to ride today? And I'll just get on and I'll just go and I'll see a road and be like, well, I never turned down this road before, and I'll make the turn and I'll just keep going. Sometimes my goal is to get lost and I laugh because, inevitably I'm always like, oh, this is where this leads to, I always wind up coming to a road that I do know. There have been times where I've gotten lost and I'm like, okay, I have no clue where I am. And in those cases, I don't ever panic. I have a GPS. So then I just pop the GPS on and I'm like, how do I get home from here? So eventually you'll get to the point where you really feel safe and secure and confident to kind of do that kind of exploring and motorcycle riding. When I talked about my beginner to intermediate slow maneuvering, which I kind of already talked about it before, so I won't go into a lot of detail, but that is going to be a class where the Street Smart Motorcycling is one-on-one. The beginner to intermediate slow maneuvering class is a group class where I allow up to 8 people to join the class. It will be in a parking lot. There will be cones that you'll have to navigate. I'll have all different courses set up. I will teach you, all different things like, being really comfortable making circles in each direction, and, proper head movement, proper eye movement, just all the things that you need to do to start really building those slow maneuvering skills. Um, it will not be as challenging as the advanced slow maneuvering class, but it'll still be challenging to you and it'll push you to that next level where you then can take the advanced slow maneuver skills. I talked about my DMV skills practice class. That is a 2-hour class. I'm offering 6 of those classes throughout the year. So if you are on that route where you're learning to ride and you want to get your endorsement by taking the road test at DMV, this class will give you the opportunity to traverse that skills test. I will set the cones up exactly as they are set up at the DMV, and we will do the exact exercises that they ask you to do at the DMV to get you to earn your endorsement. It is not a very, very challenging course at all. In fact, if you were to take my beginner to intermediate slow maneuvering class, I will actually teach you the skills beyond what you even need to know to pass that DMV skills test. So if you took my beginner to intermediate slow maneuvering and then kind of just came to take that skills test with me, the DMV skills test class, you would be like, hey, this is a breeze. And so that's where we want to get you to, where you take that DMV skills test course and you're like, this is so easy. And then you go to DMV and you ace it. I actually already had one student who took one of my DMV skills practice tests last October. And a couple of weeks ago, she finally took her road test and she was so excited to contact me and let me know that she passed, which I was not surprised at because she's really a fantastic rider. So that can be you and it will be you. So that's what that class is all about. I already talked about my intro to group riding, so I won't really go into that anymore. I think I've pretty much talked about everything else, just the advanced slow maneuvering, offensive riding, emergency procedures and obstacles, and then of course my group tours. The other thing that I really want to talk about is I want to start to do a annual competition. So in talking about the slow maneuvering, if you're a nerd like me and you watch YouTube videos of people riding motorcycles when you can't be riding, which I often do, um, I either watch coaches instruct and talk about technique, because I'm always, hey, I'm 15 years riding, but I can always improve something. Um, One of the things I tell my students is the moment you think that you are such a proficient motorcyclist that you have absolutely nothing to learn, that is the moment when something, I don't want to say, but that's the moment when you become too confident that I'm just going to say things can happen. And we don't ever want to get to that place. One of my favorite quotes about motorcycling is, it says that motorcycling in and of itself is not inherently dangerous, but it is extremely unforgiving of inattention, inexperience, and recklessness. So we always want to be taking training and knowing that, hey, we have to respect this motorcycle. This is a powerful machine. And we need to be making sure that we can always ride the motorcycle. We can always, drive it and control it. So that's why it's really important to always know that you always have something to learn. And that's going to keep you safe on the road. Um, so yeah, my offensive emergency procedures and all those classes, my slow maneuvering, these are all very necessary classes. They're all classes that are going to push your skill level just tremendously. But with all that slow maneuvering, like I had started to say, as the nerd that I am who watches YouTube videos of people riding motorcycles, I also really enjoy watching the police officers always do their slow maneuvering competitions. So if you've never had an opportunity to watch that, then I just kind of encourage you to go onto YouTube and just search for, moto officer slow maneuver competitions, or just moto officer riding competitions. And it is so much fun to watch. And I thought, it would be so fun to kind of have competitions to go to and ride in. And I know that they exist somewhere, but when I look them up, I don't always see things in this area. Of course, a lot of competitions are, dirt bike riding, and all that kind of stuff. So as cruiser riders, you have the sport bikers who go to the track and all that kind of stuff. But as cruiser riders, I don't feel like there's always a lot of opportunity for us to get engaged in competitions. So starting this year, I am going to have my first annual slow maneuvering competition. So that's going to be a lot of fun. I believe I have that scheduled for September. Let me just double check that. But that is something that you, as a rider, you'll be able to submit an entry to be a rider. Yep, that's going to be on September 25th. So I will create an event about that. But basically, you have from now until September. So you've got the whole entire spring and summer to really work on your slow maneuvering, to maybe take, one of my courses to push your skill level. And how much fun would it be to enter into that competition? Depending on where we are with COVID, the goal is to make it into a full event. I'd like to have some vendors there. Would like to just have maybe some entertainment, some food options. And you invite people to come be spectators. There'll be tickets being sold to have people come and just be spectators, whether they're people or they're not people. So it will be the first annual slow women's. I want to specify that the women's slow riding competition. And maybe if it's a hit, maybe I'll do it for the men. Maybe we'll have men, and then maybe, who knows? Maybe whoever won the man's competition and whoever won the women's competition. I always like the battle of the sexes. So maybe the winning man and the winning woman goes head to head on the same slow maneuver course. So that could be kind of fun. But for right now, September 25th is going to be the first annual slow riding competition for Carolina Cruzin motorcycle coaching. There'll be prizes, there'll be trophies. It's going to be a blast. So just keep your eyes open and your ears open for that, to find out more details and to find out when entries open up and when registration begins and when tickets are being sold and all that good stuff. So with that being said, I don't know if I just talked more than 5 minutes or not. I think I did. But that's what's up on the docket for 2021 for Carolina Cruzin motorcycle coaching. And I am really, really excited for this year, for working with some of the women I've worked with last year as on repeat, or meeting new people, new women. Hopefully I meet lots of new women who want to ride this year. And it's going to be a great season. So I really look forward to it. And just keep watching my page because I'm going to have more videos, videos on buying motorcycles, videos on what types of motorcycles to buy, just videos on safe riding and gear and all that kind of stuff. So it's going to be a good season. I'm hoping to bring you all the resources that you need to help you learn to ride, ride proficiently, ride prepared, and ride safe. So keep your eyes open. And if you haven't done so yet, please feel free to share my page with your friends who are already riding, or the friends that you know who want to learn to ride, so that we can continue to build this community and continue to be women who support and empower each other. So thank you to all of you who support and empower me and encourage me and motivate me all the time. My students who I have worked with in the past, I can't tell you how motivated you have made me and how empowered you have made me in return. So thank you all for your patronage, and I look forward to working with more of you in the very near future. All right, take care, everybody. Have a great day.